And we're here. Hello, everyone! As you can see, I was just finishing up getting my new face. Aren't I beautiful? I now have an actual looker of a mug. Still a ginger, though, so no soul. No luck there. Hey, Panteray! Hey, it's me, James. Good to see you guys. So that's what it was. You thought I got you there. You thought, oh, is he doing a new playthrough for some reason? No. Now let me get decent with my half-naked clothes. Now, very stoic. Yeah. As you can see, I had a little fun before we started. It's the soul's urge. I have to roll through everything breakable. I have to show off the physics engine. All right, let's see if we can get Leonhard to spawn. Come on, my man. I'm pretty sure you're here. Loki 2.0 is upon us. And I'm never gonna show my face anyway, because I'm just gonna put it in a helmet. Sounds about right. Hey, doggy. What do you want today, my boy? While we're here, let's get Orbeck out of the way.
Back again.
Yeah. I got your scroll.
Unfathomable. This is a crystal sorcery. Created by the Pale Dragon. Thought only to exist in legend. I am ever grateful to you. This is truly sublime. I am afraid this is a debt I cannot repay. Only, I will be sure to unravel it for you. Just a moment.
Now again, we get the idea that Seath, of course, has been so far removed from the events of Dark Souls 1 that obviously confirming his existence has become somewhat of a hearsay as terms of historical veracity. I mean, just got to think about it. Anor Londo hadn't been visited in 1,000 years, or well, I shouldn't say 1,000 years, but it hasn't been visited in, well, hundreds of years since during the events of Dark Souls 1. So already there was a bit of a Seath being cut off from mainstream society in terms of rumors in the world of man. Now you add in the events of Dark Souls 2, where pretty much everything related to him gets moved to another part of the world. And then add on top of that, now again here in Dark Souls 3, where all of it's being hoarded by Lothric, and it's like, okay, yeah, there's the Crystal Sages out there, and they have their little Seath religion, but is what they're saying actually true? And it's very interesting to think about when we have these sort of, these pantheon of gods. You could go to Anor Londo and visit it and stuff, but now we get to see how the idea of that being a concept is so far removed from the modern contemporary events in the timeline. Now, this will give us a few sorceries. Thankfully, I have enough souls. Yep. Now, before we do the teaching, I must confess I did a little bit of farming through the best farming method possible. I've now got my endurance, my attunement, and my intelligence, and I'm working a little on faith up to our next standard now. Endurance I'm going to keep as it is because I'm not really going to get much value out of it until I get to like the 40s, around 40. So I'm going to just leave it there for now. And then, I'm going to work on faith right now. And then once we get everything up in the 40 range, we're going to start now then pushing back to 50. Though honestly, I may leave attunement, vigor, and endurance where they are for a while. And maybe, no, not vitality. We're going to work with vitality soon enough. But basically, I'm going to try to see if we can get my intelligence, faith, strength, and dexterity up to the 50s like I had on my old save before I do the other stuff. Because the other stuff isn't as important to me as my damage dealers. Because once I get the damage done, oh boy, we're in business. And then once after damage, then we'll worry about vigor and stuff again. But again, that's thinking like New Game Plus approaching at this point. Because the soul farming at some point has its limits. But since we're want to keep this going, nothing really special here. It just basically reconfirms what we say in Dark Souls 1. And again, this is a common habit in Dark Souls 3, where you will, Miyazaki will copy-paste a lot of the spells and stuff, and it'll basically just slightly reword them or something, maybe, like, have a few extra added tidbits every now and then, but usually it'll just be the old stuff, that the localization may make sound a little different because, again, it's the localization. They can't ever do consistency.
In Vinheim, I was an assassin.
Yes, we figured.
A sorcerer only in name. A killer for hire. What a fool I was, thinking one day I would learn real sorceries. When I became undead, I was exiled from the school. But here I am, now, exploring the depths of sorcery. All thanks to you, I might add. You are no ordinary man. All these sorceries, and you've mastered every one. If this were the Dragon School, you'd be, well, overtly despised and banished from the place. Well, I suppose it's time I pack my bags. I would hate to see our agreement end sourly. Better left, tucked away, as a pleasant memory.
Now, what we're learning here, of course, is that he was, of course, a spy for Vinheim, but he turned undead, which is curious, because that means that he got, presumably, killed on the job, or was he? Because as we learned earlier, he makes a point of how he didn't realize how foolish he was to not think that there would be retribution someday for all his killings. And well, that retribution apparently came and got him killed, and he happened to turn undead. Now, another important detail to note is that the Vinheim spies no longer exist as an organization. That secret class has basically been disbanded. All the item descriptions are, like I said before, copy-pasted from Dark Souls 1 for the most part, except that they changed, so now the spies are always talked about in the past tense instead of in the present tense, giving us the idea that the organization was wiped out. So there seems to be the idea that, again, Vinheim was always controlling the Dragon School was always controlling the politics in Vinheim through these spies. They were well paid as a result of it, but as Orbeck and a little hints with Griggs give us is that these people weren't really treated that well. They were essentially second-class sorcerers. These were people who were down on their luck. They needed money. Clearly, tuition is too expensive for the Dragon School, so they don't get the ordinary class. They have to instead do the dirty jobs for the school to maybe make the money to maybe, at least as their promise, to learn real sorcery. Apparently, this never really happens. What instead goes on is that they keep on working, they seem to get their pay, but it has to always pay off the debts, pay off your informants, all the stuff, It always seems to always work out where they're never actually learning the real sorcery. They're always just sticking to all this spook stuff. But then, it seems that a job went wrong. Apparently, they must have killed the wrong person in the political sphere, because that person seems to have come back with a retribution and completely wiped out the spies in the government. The result, of course, of this is that Orbeck ends up undead. He may be the only survivor of the group, quote-unquote, again, survivor. Much like Cirrus, we talk about being the survivor of the Dark Moon Knights that were seemingly purged by Sullivan, and the idea being is in a similar vein, Orbeck seems to go to the school, essentially. Maybe he was looking for assistance or a place to hide or whatever, some sort of support. And instead, the Dragon School's like, oh, you're undead. Like, we don't want any of you. Like, go. You're exiled like the rest. And he suddenly had the realization of, oh my gosh, my entire life I've been doing this for you, and you just used me up and then threw me away like a wet rag. All these sorceries, and you mastered every single one. My 10 intelligence strength Bill nodding along while not knowing how to use a single one. Well, I'm pretty sure you have to... Oh, that's right. You have to... What's the... Yeah, you don't need to actually have the requirements to buy these sorceries, right? So he teaches you sorceries that you don't necessarily can actually use. It's like, okay, practice all these souls, da-da-da-da. Hey, you accomplished it once with your 10 intelligence. Hey, Eric, good to see you. So, so Orbeck basically felt completely betrayed. This is why we see him going out to Faron, seemingly on his own, to learn sorceries all by his lonesome. Much like how Vinheim students are now being sent out in their field studies to seemingly find unique sorceries and discoveries and make research strives of their own, which they can then bring back to the school, which conveniently helps the school safely learn new work without them having to lift a finger. Funny how that works out. But yeah, Orbeck now got his chance to play not just student but also teacher. Through us, providing him these scrolls. But of course, him being a sourpuss, he doesn't want to get too attached and decides, well, I guess it's about time, our agreement's done. He can't ever, be all mushy and be like, hey, I actually really like this, maybe we could just be, genuine buddies. Which is a shame, because I really like him. Like, genuinely, actually one of my, favorite characters as far as Dark Souls 3 exclusive, if we, like, throw out the villains, because, I'm sorry, I got a villain bias. Yeah, him and Cornix are great. Let's see. Anything else we could say about him?
You are no all
Yeah.
I would hate to say hello.
Yeah.
Promise to stay safe.
Oh, I will, but you won't.
It's been nice running our own little school.
Yeah, it was. But again, it's interesting to note how one singular character helps really define a key moment for an entire country like Vinheim. We really get the sense of, oh, so that's what's going on.
Now invade and
Yeah. I need you to appear with Rosaria! I want to continue the quest! I hope we didn't mess it up because Hazel is dead. That would suck. Because I know he has dialogue there, but I wonder if it skips it. We don't need anything from you. We don't need anything from you. I bought everything from Carla already while off screen. Do I need anything from my... Okay. Is there any point of using this staff, like upgrading this staff if I'm just using it for Ulasilian sorceries? Got my cast light and everything equipped? I don't think so, right? Like, I don't think it really benefits. If I ever mix it up with attack sorceries, I could just get another one. So yeah, I think we're gonna do that. Let's go to Rosaria. Hopefully she'll be back. Come on, Leonhard. Len who's it? Len what's it? I prefer the pyromantics. They are very bros with us, lol. Yeah, pyromancers are generally pretty chill characters. Still nothing here. Let's just try to give one single offering of a tongue now that I've done my correcting. Maybe that'll do it. I'll offer a single tongue. And she's like, good, wonderful. Now go away. Okay, my lady. I love you. There he is. There's my boy. There's my man. There's my little Princey Poo. There's my dude with daddy's issues, but who doesn't in this game? There you are. In fact, I'm so happy with this arrangement that I'm going to try and get a few shots with you here. Now, excuse me while we enjoy our boy. He's like, I'm too cool for you. Yeah, sure, bud. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, can we get a shot of him with his goddess? Maybe even get the bonfire out of it. Yes. I like this. I like this a lot. Ooh, maybe we should... This is where I need the mouse, I think. Ooh. We can do it like this. Get the shot there. Clean it up. Yeah, here should be good. Let's just... Yeah, do it like that. Yes. It's getting a clean look at Rosaria. Yes. Let's now wait for the edgelord. Yeah, let's wait for that cloth to go up. Yes, I love it. Now, let's see if we can get anything. Well, let's try one more, just in case. Anything else that we want to... It's a good one that we can also do. I guess we can do this, too, just in case I end up liking the one with the bonfire in it more. Because why not? There we go. That's a few options. Ooh. Can we get something to work back there? No, I don't think so. I think that's a little bit pushing it. Maybe... here? I'm not really feeling it. And also confused as to why you just started crying on the floor. He's probably confused as to why you're holding binoculars up there. Yeah, probably. George, good to see you. By the way, does the use of the Darkmoon Tomb as the place of marriage of the Lord of Hollows have some broader metaphysical utility, such symbols, or is it just the Sable Church trolling Gwyn? Just the trolling. This, again, it's just a ceremonial tomb. Gwyn is not buried there. There is no body in that giant coffin. It's just there to act as a monument to his quote-unquote glorious death as he goes off to link the fire. Well, I guess I should say went off to link the fire, considering where we are in Dark Souls 3's part of the timeline. But, yeah. So the entire point with Gwyn is that he is, like, yeah, it's just Yuria being like, hey, I want to spit on God's grave. Can I do that? I can do that. I'm gonna do it. And, well, she does it. But yeah, I think we got enough shots for the website, if possible. I don't know if I'll ever fit it here, but this is a rare moment I need to catch, so... Let's do a few more with this while we get the chance. My man, my mate, my bro, my broski. You are literally the most photogenic character in the game, and it's all because I don't have to worry about your face. So thank you for getting burned. I think we got something like this, but let's get some different, slightly different angle. Alright! I could be here forever, but we'll do it in the New Game Plus if we have to, if I'm not happy with it.
Ah, so you've chosen to serve Rosaria after all? She will be pleased with me for finding her another finger.
Soup!
But be warned, my friend. Rosaria's fingers need only fetch tongues for their mistress. Otherwise, we are free, unchained. Like Yellowfinger, you can choose to believe that all fingers share camaraderie.
Ah, so you still say it even if she's dead.
Do not force your romance upon the rest of us.
Fine, I guess we gotta all be Lautrex like you.
Rosaria's fingers need only fetch tongue, otherwise you are forbidden.
Blah blah blah, okay. Yeah. The ultimate disrespect to Gwyn, love those guys. It's a middle finger for the gods, lol. Yep, exactly. Exactly, my mans, my peeps. Gotta get one more jab in at Gwyn after death. Spit on his actual grave. We got everything we want from you. Klimt is so creepy. He's also so low textured. Is there a mod that like increases the graphical fidelity for Dark Souls 3? Just out of curiosity. Because I would be kind of interested in trying that out just to see if someone could make a little sharper on the graphics. Some of the stuff here, it looks good, but then you look a little closer and you're like, yeah, this is a FromSoft game, alright. It ain't Blue Point. Hazel was the real waifu. Well, she's no more. She's now a blood splatter on this floor. Alright. You still there? Yeah, you are. Let's go give him some alone time with his mistress. I'm sure nothing bad will happen to him. In the meantime, we will go here. Because we still have some stuff to grab. I also want to show off my favorite way to farm. I sent you an email for the audio from the door that you commented on the last live stream. Okay, cool. I'll check it out right after this. I gotta get to your other email anyway too, Eric, so I'll make sure to get to it. Thank you for giving me an excuse to take some time out. Let's see. I got all this, everything there, so I just gotta move this around. Alrighty, let's have some fun. Now I don't have the helmet. I don't have my my mimic head, but we're gonna make the most of it in Ring City. I promise you. Look at that glitchy shadow. Now I didn't comment on this last time, but again, notice the arrow-ridden defenses that were set up around here to protect Prince Lothric's chamber. Give us a straight idea of the problems with the heretics versus the royalists happening here at the Grand Archives. That there was enough fighting to come all the way up here and try to get to Lothric. Again, we can get this idea that there are many parties who want to kill Lothric, many others who want to defend him for various reasons, because they see their future under his quote-unquote reign. Whether or not they realize the full implications of what he's trying to do, they clearly think that they can somehow use it to their advantage. I mean, after all, eventually he's gonna give up being a party pooper and come back to sanity. Right? Alright, do my job, boys. Wow, you missed almost all of them. Amazing. So yeah, now we watch. As we can see, Gertrude's knights who have used the strange powers that they have. Whoop. There we go. In order to give themselves angel wings, have switched out their armor to something more fancy to show off how there's not just any old regular Gertrude knight. Oh, I forgot the stealth. Wait, what? Failure! Alright, this one had to work, right? There we go. I forgot to put on my Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring! Whee! I also forgot to put on the extender on this, but... There we go. Easy 60k souls. If I wasn't being a derp, I could have gotten even more. Now again, as we talked about before, sometimes embers give us very specific meanings. Sometimes they're just randomly there because, again, game balance. Obviously, having an Estus shard here serves a similar role. Reminding us of the heat and the bonfire. Actually curious, can you... Nah, they don't let you see... Like, you should see Archdragon Peak from up here. Like, it should be somewhere over those ways. You can see the ocean, though, from here. All that cloud cover and stuff, though. Anyway. See, it's just a phase. The prince will grow up, lol. Ah, yes, the glorious reign of let's just watch the world implode. It'll be fun. Yeah. I'm sure they think that he'll eventually see reason. They just gotta listen. They just gotta wait. Give him his time to have his tantrum. Also, look. Whoop. 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 Dark Souls 3 is a perfect game with no flaws whatsoever. No, sir. Ignore that strange hole in the geometry behind in the back of the castle there. There we go. Yep, just ignore it. Anything else that we should be concerned about? I don't think so. Yeah. Burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn. Oh. Right, you bozos, the Triple Knight Squad from Demon Souls. But you have a fourth! I forgot, because you want to one-up Demon Souls. No! No! Oh, no! Alright, let's be... Oh! Let's be cheeky. Alright. Don't you dare drink that Estus, soldier! I don't even need this stuff. Again, notice how we get the Red Knight uniform from the Blue Knight. And as we talked about last time, the entire, that entire piece of the Grand Archives just goes whoopsie-daisy and disappears. It's gone. It's just super not there. Again, we should also clearly be seeing the stuff of all the areas we've been to from here, but we do not. Alrighty. Let's get the item here. How much do I need? Alright, 173. Perfect. Now we will be going back to Ariandel, but first we want to get our good old friend Leonhard out of the way. Now, if I remember right, this chest had, Titanite scales. It's interesting to note that they take the scales that crystal lizards develop after consuming souls and essentially gaining more power through those souls. Whoopsie. In a chest in the lead up to where Prince Lothric and the High Priestess and things would be passing through to his chamber. Giving us a kind of foreshadowing of what to expect for the prince himself. We got our slab. I do not know why a castle would ever build their system like this. Oh, hey, in case you ever fall, we'll have this extra lever down here. Who survives a fall this deep? And if you worry about people falling, why even build this? It serves no purpose. Ree! Why do you have to be a video game, Dark Souls 3? Ree! Oh. I also stand by my point that I've made in the past. They should just move the bonfire for Dragon Slayer armor over here. It would literally make everybody happier, because they'll just have a quick bonfire to go straight back to Prince Lothric. So again, if the game ever gets remade, you don't need to do any of that fancy America State crap. Just move that bonfire from there to over there. Literally just moving it so that way it's not literally right next to the Grand Archives bonfire. Alright, before I forget. I said I would show this last time, but I didn't. Again, same statue. pointed this time in the direction of the king and the high priestess, again reinforcing the importance of the propaganda. Alright, let's go check back on Rosaria. I'm sure she's perfectly fine. I'm sure her and her fan are doing great. Oh. What's this? What happened? I am bamboozled, astonished, shocked. Black eye orb? Not every day I get a shot of a dead goddess. Does this make me a necrophile? There we go. Alright, I think that's good enough. Alright, as we see, we got a black eye orb. Now, the last time we received an orb like this, it was from Anastasia, the Firekeeper, in Dark Souls 1. Except hers didn't have this foggy overlay to it and a grayish eye. Instead, it was a gold eye. We can maybe account for these differences to be based on the fact that she had a Firekeeper soul, while Rosaria, of course, has a more unique soul caused by the sunlight interacting with the deep from Aldrich's corruption. Weirdest design choices have two bonfires so close to each other. I don't think they were thinking. I think they just had the items and they were like, okay, we'll just place it here. And they didn't think about just how close they exactly were. Arcane, yeah, so we can see from this orb here, much like the last version, it's essentially used to get revenge by having the eye essentially look, search for the person. They'll find a time space or another world where the signal is strongest and try to invade them from that spot. Loki forgot the feet. Miyazaki would be disappointed. Oh no, I didn't get a good look at that beautiful soul. Anyway, I am a failure to Dark Souls. Honestly, they should have just renamed Soul to the Soul of the Feet. Would be so much more accurate to Miyazaki's tastes. Anyway, the point being, of course, is that they would find him. Now, of course, much like in Dark Souls 1, this orb leads us to the Lautrec character, as the self-described Knight of the Goddess, to Anor Londo. Except this one, it makes a point about how it has this almost calm look when it looks over toward Irithyll. Which, again, makes sense, because, again, Rosaria, despite being very angry and mad and, you know, chaotic evil, she was once just an ordinary daughter of Guinevere, and she was living in Irithyll, and things were good, before Sullivan. So, she has lots of probably many fond memories with her family there. And so she's probably, when her soul, which produced this eye orb, upon her death, before it was looted, looks over there, it's probably thinking, I can remember fonder days. Obviously, instinctually, it's not like it's sentient. The point, of course, being for Rosaria, though, is that she will have that soul. If her soul is returned to her, she'll go back to doing what she does, because in the end, it doesn't matter about the past, no matter how much she may wish things were different. This is how things are now, and she has a vendetta against the world she will mete out. Now, we didn't get Aldrich's thing last time, right? Or did we? I forget. Oh no, we did. Let's just remake every soul into feats, just imagine. She was once an ordinary daughter of Guinevere. Geez, where have I heard that one before? She was once an ordinary daughter of Guinevere, and then shit hit the fan. Do we have to be Embered? I actually don't remember, but, we're doing it anyway. We don't need you. I can always add you after the fact. You feel the black orb quivering. Oh, we have to use the item, right? Yeah. Boom. Corruption. Again, you can notice compared to normal red eye or black eye orbs, this one has a unique special effect. It has this as a red spirit instead of a blue spirit. Actually, no, I think it was a red spirit even in the...
Couldn't resist her any longer in all
I can't remember,
her
actually.
glory.
Oh, yeah, you.
And now you want to ravage her soul as well. I sow the seeds, I'll prune the mess. I, Leonhard, swear so upon my vows to the goddess.
So again, this is him referencing himself. I swear on my vows as a knight of the goddess, blah, blah, blah. Basically, he's making Lautrec references. Now, Leonhard brings Rosaria's soul. Oh, well, I guess we should start with that. So, Leonhard kills Rosaria because she was defiled by Aldrich, and he sort of has put himself into the total simp crazy mode of, I need to make sure she never gets defiled by anyone again, and the only way to do that is to at least protect the soul, since it's too late for the body. Again, well, as we see, the soul itself is also kind of defiled in a sense, so, again, he's just being a little bit pedantic. My man? Oh, right, you're using the ring, okay. Now, the point, of course, with Leonhard's behavior is that he is got a bit of a mother complex. That's because, as we can learn from his attire, he has the apparel of a nobleman, and there, at least as the description tells us, he himself is a prince. Now, what is a prince wearing noble military uniform, using Logan's homing soul mass, along with the soul greatsword, which soul greatsword is pretty generic as far as sorceries go, nothing really to say there, but homing soul mass? The sorcery of Logan? Why, that's a sorcery that's being hoarded and studied at the profane capital. At least up until we took the scrolls and gave them to Orbeck. Again, remember, Eamon had that was keeping those scrolls secure. At least Lautrec did the deed. At least Lautrec wasn't a virgin, yeah. But wow, he's just gonna strafe like that. But the point, of course, being is that the implication would be that our prince would be from the profane capital, meaning he would be Yorm's son. Well, well, well. That is an interesting detail. Now, to add to this, of course, is the notion that Leonhard was terribly burned. Again, remember what happened to the citizens of the profane capital, particularly the elites at the quote-unquote palace, where Yorm had once stayed. After he left, they did some crazy ritual to try to most likely transform themselves into angels, into higher beings, more godlike beings, a higher form of existence. But in their attempt to transcend, they instead ended up all getting just horribly burned and killed. Fire didn't, the fire derived from the dark in the sky didn't exactly save them as they hoped. As a result, the profane flame ended up keeping them forever burned, or what have you, for those who are dead. As for Leonhard, as we can see, he ended up eventually leaving for Rosaria. Now, how is it that he learns about Rosaria if he's in the profane capital? Well, as we recall, we've seen man-grubs attempting to get into Irithyll. We know one tries to get in topside through the river, and maybe even try to go through the sewers or something. So others may try to go through the underground area, such as where we see a hole in the profane capital's place. So maybe some thought, oh, I can go up through like the sewer system in the dungeon or something like that. The point is, there's definitely opportunity for Leonhard, isolated down in the profane capital ruins, to learn all this. Obviously, he would have to be relatively young, because we're told that he was very young when his burns occurred to him. And obviously, he would be growing up in ruins under Eamon, before and most likely after the whole profane capital moving and all that. The end result of this would, of course, be that when a man-grub comes by and gives him the word of Rosaria, he's like, oh, hey, her rebirthing could fix my problems. So he goes there, but instead he decides he's gonna simp, and he becomes a knight of the goddess by swearing his fealty to her. Now, that's all well and good with his romance. As we see, Rosaria gives him a sword with moonlight power, which again is another hint of how she's originally from Irithyll, considering that's a sword she takes with her. I don't know why Sullivan let her have it, but maybe he gave her the idea that she could defend herself against Aldrich. Clearly that didn't work. Anyway, she ultimately handed it over to Leonhard, clearly touched by his efforts, but in the end, she should have been more cautious because he ended up, of course, betraying her, and she's now all pissy about it to want to have her revenge through the Eye Orb. The soul, of course, as we said, has been brought over to Anor Londo, where Leonhard could presumably either, one, he thinks, oh, I'll go over and get revenge on Aldrich myself or whatever, assuming he knows about all that, or, assuming he doesn't even know or care, he may be just like, hey, I'll take it to some place closely related to her mom, up here in the old ruins. Either way, that's where we find him, in Guinevere's old chamber. The question then would be, why has he got such a mother complex then? Well, again, the idea would be, well, if he is a prince of the profane capital, and thereby Yorm's son, well, there comes an interesting dilemma there. That means that Yorm was married. He had a wife. He had a queen. And again, this adds a interesting little wrinkle into his tale. We didn't talk about this last time on Yorm when we were doing the Profane Capital, but Yorm has a mysterious detail on his shield about how he used a shield with his sword to defend the Profane Capital from all threats, as well as himself. It's very likely that shield is the reason he was able to withstand the Storm Rulers that he acquired in battle. Again, the Storm Rulers seem to be Eastern weapons based on their design. But he then threw away his shield, which was so protective, and ultimately doomed him in our battle, because allegedly he lost the one to protect, as the Japanese puts it. Now, obviously, if we're thinking of someone to protect who would matter to Yorm, again, everyone in the Profane Capital has suspicions of him. They call him king, but they don't have it in their hearts. They don't really feel that way. They just kind of want to use him in order to have independence from Karthus, because again, we established that Yorm is very likely Wolnir's son, and so there is the idea of he has the strength to keep as a giant man to keep the independence of the capital if they make him the king, but they're afraid of him because again, descendant of a tyrant and tyrant conqueror, and of course very big and scary. The end result, of course, would be what is tying Yorm here beyond just the ability to be free of a terrible place like Karthus? Well, if he had someone who legitimately loved him, who he could make his queen, a woman who might be able to love him for just the way he is, and then that woman dies for one reason or another. Maybe it was some political play, maybe it was giving birth to Leonhard, which would explain a lot. Whatever the cause is, she dies, and then he starts in his later years as it goes on the battlefield, discard his shield and start just using his sword with reckless abandon. Kind of becomes a sort of death seeker, right? Like he's just sort of wildly attacking people, and you know, if they kill him, if him like sacrificing his defenses gets him killed, he doesn't care because the only person he cared about is gone. And again, the idea that Leonhard may be responsible for that, again, maybe she died in childbirth, would explain a whole lot on why Yorm doesn't seem to care about his son. In the end, of course, as we know, he makes friends with Siegward, and Siegward essentially has him go over and link the fire, essentially, by getting them in contact with that. When Yorm leaves, of course, that's when all the craziness starts, because we have a very young Leonhard who's going to ascend the throne, and we can imagine his coronation party was, hey, it's time to, since we can't trust the baby to defend us, or the young kid, like, let's just say he was like 6 or 8 or something. 10 maybe even. And it's like, well, we can't trust this guy to protect us or anything. Okay, we're just going to commit this ritual to try to transcend us. Whoopsie! This screwed up, and then we all get burned, and then all the survivors, the handmaids and stuff, who have been doing all this crazy sadistic stuff, they're no longer under the thumb of the elites, because again, most of them are dead from the ritual, and so they're now going wild and killing everyone, and like sort of like making everything a hell house. As we know, Eamon didn't go to this banquet. He's just kind of sticks to defending his family in the church that are left after he horribly transformed them and caused all this madness with the profane flame, inadvertently. he could be the type of person who would rescue Leonhard, raise him, give him a military uniform when he's going out to find Rosaria and all that, etc., etc. Anyway, this is a very long explanation to give for Leonhard's backstory, which, as you can see, is a very interesting story and completes the Profane Capital narrative. This is again why I say that Profane Capital, I don't blame both English and Japanese communities for having such a struggle with it, because it's very hard to follow with how spread out all the different lore pieces are between Leonhard and Karthus, and then you have to know a lot of stuff about the East, which is only introduced in the Profane Capital, as well as just having to know a lot of Dark Souls 2 context. It's so much stuff to keep track of. But anyway, that explains his mother complex for Rosaria. He's so obsessed, he doesn't want to lose another mother, so he ends up going crazy and ironically killing his mother to take her soul and bring her to some place where he thinks it'll comfort her. Also, recall when we meet Leonhard, he's kneeling against Prince Lothric, who also has daddy issues, his throne, in the direction of Yorm's throne. So you can easily imagine him. The reason why we find him there is maybe not that he's randomly deciding to try to recruit Unkindled, is that he maybe is coming here instead to maybe figure out what's going on with Daddy Dearest, because again, the whole waking of the Lords of Cinder and all that, and knowing Daddy went to become a Lord of Cinder, he may have been there to kind of see, kind of just have a reunion with his dad, however that would play out, and things maybe, of course, obviously didn't go that way. So instead, we come in and give him another reason. Oh. Gwendolyn, I'm very unhappy with you. Why are you giving Guinevere's children all these toys? Whoop.
No one to spoil her soul.
Yeah.
Certainly no beast wrapped in human skin.
Again, making the point of how Aldrich is human, or at least was. Whoop. And it was humans who, of course, ravaged Rosaria, as it were.
Isn't flesh enough for a sick beast?
I got plenty where this came from, buddy. Again, as further proof, notice how Leonhard uses is it called East Iron Shield? I forget what it's called in this game, but it's the shield that was associated with the Far East. I think we can only get it from Shiva's Ashes. It was previously a Dark Souls 2 shield, so it makes sense, because again, Dark Souls 2 does have some contact with the East, and the idea that this shield was essentially an Eastern shield reinforces the idea he comes from the Profane Capital, because as we established, Profane Capital sits right between Drang Lake and the Far East, as far as location is concerned, because it's east of Drang Lake, and then obviously farther east is the not Japan country. I think he just uses regular sorcery staff, right? Yeah, he doesn't have anything special. He doesn't have a Logan staff from the. Guess the nobles living there weren't willing to give that valuable trinket to him for this mission. He could go with a standard. All right, I think we've had enough fun, my friend. In fact, I'm just gonna equip this early because there's literally no downside.
Blessed Rosaria.
We have fulfilled our mission. At least, the man just wanted love. Her Leonhard, let the sword give you a hug. Leonhard, let the sword. Miyazaki and parents issues. Tales as old as time. Gwendolyn is the really cool uncle, apparently. Rosaria, where did you get that dagger? Uncle Gwendolyn gave it to me. Exactly, my friends. Exactly. Anyway, that covers everything that we need. Did I really not get the souls? Or did I not keep track of how many souls I actually had? I must have not. Okay, we got all the stuff we need, though, right? Alright, I think it's time to go back to Ariandel. Alright, so as we established, we've met the painter, and we've met Yorshka, her sister. Now, Yorshka will reveal how, well, I shouldn't say she reveals, but we learn that Yorshka, of course, didn't have a name until Gwendolyn gave her one. The same is true for the painter. Now, I'll be honest, I don't quite understand why anyone would be without a name. Seems like an odd choice by the family, and we can't say it's because her parents died too early, because we know from at least the painter that she seems to have received tutelage from her mother directly, i.e. Priscilla. But then again, it's extremely mysterious why Priscilla is dead as of this era, especially considering how things are in this world. You would think that Priscilla wouldn't be gone so soon. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a real smooth run. Oh. Oh yeah, this is where things get awkward for me. Come on, bring him. Oh. I have plenty more where that came from. Fat rolling sucks, but I like souls. Alrighty. Let us go. Press onward. A Crow City? More like Atrocity. Cause I hate the Corvians. Yeah, Corvians are, pretty obnoxious when you're meleeing, at least. Thank you, conveniently paced tree. $1,000 souls. Ree! I miss my Gertrude nights. Give me 20k when I do nothing. But pit you against each other. As we can see over here, there's a bell. If we recall, Wilhelm was making a reference how there was no bell tolling. This seems to be the reason. They removed the bell. Now, we're not sure if the bell belongs to this tower over here, or if it belongs to the chapel over there. I could legit see an argument for either. There's a follower shield. Again, nothing really to say here. These are just more hollows of the enemies we saw earlier in the level. They're just kind of wandering the countryside, as it were. Going mad. Oh! Oh, okay. Thank God I can strafe you. Alright, we're good here. We go this way. Gotta run out of people eventually. Whoop. Pyromancy, pyromancy. I love me some pyromancy. Oh, you. Gonna give up on that? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, it should be around here, right? Well, let's just deal with the bell person. Oh, guess that was too close. Almost at the 70s, where we want to be. Woo. Alright, we'll head this way. We want to get rid of all the shortcuts. For that... Oh, okay, geometry. Okay, there's no other items up here. Yeah, it's all other stuff. Topsy-turvy, twisty-curvy. Now we come here, of course we see a bridge that leads to the tower. As I said before, it's hard to say if this is supposed to be a proper bell tower, especially because obviously the game level isn't designed that way. But obviously it is a tower for something. Either to watch or whatever. Hey, Far On Ruins. Assets being reused. We do get, though, this solid stone lift here, which is, of course, curious. They don't reuse an asset for that. I'm pretty sure this is unique. Oh. Didn't want to do that. I do have 20k souls on hand, so 10k more souls, and we can, if we get another shortcut, we'll go back. Melting the cold, painted world with fire. That makes sense, exactly. Although, we're probably going to switch out for sorcery when we get to mid-ear, because God, do I hate mid-ear. Oh, God, what an awful boss. Is there an item back there? I don't think so. I could be misremembering, though. Sorry, just gotta move in my seat. We gotta open that way. God, I hear them everywhere. Oh. Hey, don't hit the bell. What did the bell ever do to you? As we can see, the rot is doing its rotty thing. Making it easy for us to create shortcuts. That's the way around back. We want to go this way and this way. If I recall correctly, this will drop us down? No, it's over there that'll drop us down. Mate? You finished yet? Alright, so we want to go over there. As we can see, this is a cave. Natural cave, it looks like, but it has an unnatural origin in terms of what's inside. Okay, so we can go this way. That's what it is. And this lets us drop down. This lets us drop down. Alright, back to the tree huggers, who've lost their tree to hug. I see you, I see you. This will be a little awkward. Come on, charge. Oh my god. Oh. This is where fat rolling might kill me if I'm not careful. Whoa. Oh, come on. Your poise. Woo. There we go. And now we just got to go for the Earth Shaker. Whoop. Back around. These guys are so cool. Yeah, I do like them as one-off enemies. I think they have they're neat because they're not like super major. They just have a kind of unique culture. We don't get a good sense of like civilized barbarians a lot in this series. So it's nice to kind of see that for like a nature-aligned people. Oh. Oh. Oh no! It's Earth Chaos Storm! Whatever will I do? Come on. All right. Got rid of the lead ritualist. It's also cool that they let this small, since they are such small characters, they let them foreshadow a bigger character who's also kind of minor in the grand scheme of things later. We see another one of these guys, this one with another one of these axes, and we get Earthseeker. I'll be honest, I don't know why they decided they would give a separate corpse for us to loot for that, when you could just kill the actual enemy and drop it or give it that way, but whatever. I'm not the people on the item distribution balance. We did everything we could here. Nothing really to say. Yeah, we need to... We still got plenty of pyromancy where that came from. This will take us down. Is there any reason for us to go down here? No. Oh. Oh, we're still getting attacked by arrows, right. I almost forgot about that guy. Does this matter? No. We don't care. Oh yeah, it's the wolves, so... Where's the rest of them? Where's the rest of them? Oh! That was cheap! Wolves? Hello? Bueller? Yeah, we still got our pyromancy rings to make damage a joke. Oh. Honestly, they aren't even worth pulling out the thing out, I think. Okay. You done? Ready to... Oh, okay. Oh! You tricked me! I was like, did that wolf just fall to his death? But nope, but I did! Woo! There goes 173. That's a level up of souls right there. We are not losing that. No, sir. I will not allow that to happen. In fact, because I'm so confident in my damage with my pyromancy, I will take this ring off just to ensure we don't make that happen. Yeah, even when we're not doing 999, it's still more than these guys' health. We're fine. Oh my god, let me lock on when I see them. Not gonna lie, killing wolves in game always hurt my soul. Yeah, I know some people really get attached to any type of canine doggo. I'm not that type of person, even though I am a dog person. But yeah, I just... a fictional dog's a fictional dog for me, just like a fictional person's a fictional person. Oh, there you are. You actually came. What? Holy hell, you're big! Oh! Who the... Oh. Oh, okay. Won't care about you then. Oh my god. Where is the... Oh, there you are. What? Okay, sure. Whatever, game. There you are. Nope. Ain't got time for that. Come on, Midir is cool. Okay, Midir is cool design-wise, lore-wise, boss-wise? No. I do not like big, slow, but high-damaging bosses. They put me to sleep. Ooh. Oh, if only I had the extra. Oh my god, let me stay locked on. I hate sniping in this game. Mostly because the game does not let you with its lock on. It's like, holy hell, you have to be like in their freaking face before it lets you do it. Okay, that I understand. Mate, I think you need to aim a little higher. Oh, you have got to be. That's the way we want to go, so we will go this way. Let us just remember that we have to go that way later. First, let us clear this section. Dark Souls 3 is a perfect game with no flaws whatsoever. No, sir. No, sir. Oh, you're a big boy. There's the Quakestone hammer. That's it, right? Yeah, that's everything here. Always look forward and everything will be fine. Exactly. Just don't pay attention to your surroundings of this game that they put so much effort for you to pay attention to your surroundings. Just look forward. So that way you don't see any of the creases for all the lazy parts. Yeah, we covered that. We covered that. Yeah, we can, now that we're safe, I'm gonna go back to, the shrine for the level up, so we can get this ring off. I don't think we need it still. Oh.
I see that you are now a finger of Rosaria.
I thought you were sworn loyal to me!
Your path is wholly different to mine.
Oh no, we're ignoring this. We're ignoring you. I specifically had you swear fealty to me so you wouldn't do this. What are you complaining about, woman? You said you would beat me through hell and high water, and you're like, but no! You joined Rosaria! Are you defying your vows?
Well, very well, then take none.
Ah! Yes, more! More fire. More fire. More power.
Farewell, me.
Ay, 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 ay. What do we want to do now? Oh, a large soul. What's that, like 30k? 40k? I don't know. Oh, we gotta return your... Rosaria, I forgot. We gotta return your soul. Or do we? Cirrus, I literally have the soul of the goddess right here. She's dead. Can't you, like, accept me, like, this once? Darn Dark Souls quests and their linearity. Oh, wait. What do we want? Do I have anything better? Rings. What would be a better thing? I mean, I guess if we want a YOLO against, Friede. I'll take it out just in case. You never know. I might be feeling it. Just take off all my armor and pray. I guess Lloyd's, you can't go wrong with, you can't go wrong with Lloyd's sword talisman, right? And this still just barely pays for itself, so... I'd rather wait until we get the +3 version in the DLC. Priestess ring, Scholar ring, Hunter's ring, Knight's ring, Flashbite. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's have some fun with some bugs, shall we? Don't worry, girl. We're making our way up. Oh, no, wait. My bad? I forgot. We go this way. We ignore the enemies. Time to go up. Now, as we can see, this is kind of set up like a mine shaft leading outside, but this isn't the formal entrance. It seems like it's more of an informal exit, that they hit the cave area and they were like, okay. Now, as you can see, this is a crypt. It's located at least partially beneath the chapel, separated from the town. We can see small versions of the insects, which are feeding on the bodies here. Bit hard to see, but that is what we're looking at. Actually, yeah, we can kill you with we can kill you without even having to use pyromancy. Now again, the bodies generally look fine, but again, we see a lot of the corruption and the rot happening here. Now, I'm not entirely certain what defines what rots first. Is it just sort of as the narrative shows, so we see progressive more rot as we go further into the story of the Ariandel? Or is it actually supposed to be areas with more bodies and stuff are suffering from it? I'm not entirely certain. Obviously, it makes sense for the rot to fester here on its own, just because it's a crypt, and not a lot of people go into crypts. Our buddy here is telling us that there's an illusory wall. Yeah, nothing really to show off here. Again, whoop, we get dung pies, giving us the idea that this rot that we're seeing is a waste product, which again makes sense because it is, again, rot. Filth. Corruption. Kegare, of course, as Acer would so love me to say for him. No, it's over here. You know what? Time to use that, time to use that cast light spell. We can go... Yeah, we can open the shortcut over there. But before that... Nothing there. Notice we do see bones, so it isn't just corpses here. So it seems like the idea is that this is a crypt that's been used for a long time up until the present. Even though we see the graveyard outside of the church, which has me wondering who's being buried here versus those buried in the church. That is something I am currently investigating for my thesis. As I feel that could help give us a lot of clues regarding the larger history of the place. Yeah, I guess we'll just go down. No way! Elden Ring reference! I know, right? It's crazy! Also, notice the Faron disease pustules are being reused in these areas. Oh, dang it. We can clearly see the idea of how this place has been left to get moist, damp, poison, rot, disease, all that stuff. Even absent the major rot that we, of course, are so familiar with. There's obviously also lots of water down here. Again, reinforcing this idea of why the diseased bits are happening here at the bottom. Mildew and all that. As we can see, the insects are vomiting the wormy bits, much like the maggot men, with similar effect. So there does seem to be this idea that our insect friends grow and grow bigger, and they produce more of these worms, which will start the cycle all over again. All over again. Woo! Oh. I can't beat... Oh. Almost grabbed me! Oh! You go through shields! Alright, you asked for it. I liked you better when you ignored me. Obviously, we get human pine resin from them, giving us the indication that these are products of the Abyss. Oh, right. Nothing some good old clump moss can't fix. Dead. Dead. Oh, come on. That's still not enough? Oh, that makes me more mad than anything else here. Oh. Oh my. Alright, boys, if you want to do it this way. Oh! Oh, I hate you. You are the most obnoxious enemy in this game. I hate it. Even more than the dogs, and that's saying something. Dogs, you can just block and everything's fine. Oh. Everything's not fine. Tell me Miyazaki was making Elden Ring during DX3 without telling me Miyazaki was making Elden Ring during DS3. Rot everywhere. Oh! I still have the Ring of Sacrifice equipped. Whoopsie, that's a waste. Alright, we're just going to open up the shortcut and not deal with this place methodically, because I've shown off everything I want to show off, and I don't need to kill every enemy. Oh my god, you all belong in jail. Buggy jail. Over here. We shall weave and turn. There's a blood gem because, well, obviously. Wilhelm set, we will talk about that in a second. Oh. 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 Screw you. Now, as we just were talking about earlier, Wilhelm is, we had recently killed Wilhelm. He is among the deceased. Whoa. But we do acquire his set from a corpse here. This has led to some questions about, why exactly his armor and set is here if he is, was killed, earlier at the church area where we fought him. Well, one thing to consider is, I suppose, the possibility that maybe the idea was to have this be a similarly a quote-unquote crest reward from a corpse after you kill him. I don't know how valuable that would be as a theory, however, because obviously he's a mandatory kill in order to progress, so it's hard to say. Another point to be making is, as we can see in this ruined chamber, using again some Irithel architecture repurposing, we see this corner over here with boxes and things kind of stacked around, but more importantly, we of course see books and some little pots and things for drinking and eating and all that, giving us the idea that someone was in fact residing down here and passing the time. Why would someone be hanging out? Well, as we can see, Wilhelm does go just a little ways away to where he keeps the painter. Now, why he doesn't reside there permanently, I would hazard a guess it has to do with the fact that he's trying to keep secret from Friede, so he doesn't want to be hanging around the town and letting rumors spread too much about him. Because he doesn't want Friede to know that he's still there being his her guardian angel. As for the armor set itself, if we aren't to assume that it's supposed to be an actual corpse with that actual armor, and not just a reward from the game, we have to keep in mind that, of course, that this is the armor set of a Knight of Londor, and we can imagine that it might not be exclusive to Wilhelm, but actually to all Knights of Londor. We don't actually, of course, see these knights outside of Wilhelm himself. Now, funny story here, the term here is used as a cold-blooded hangman. The term hangman is more accurately in the Japanese script a barrier. Again, someone who will put you cross him, he'll put you 6 feet under. This is humorous because this armor set replaces a cut armor set, which was known as the burial or the barrier set, with the same kanji. So again, looks like Miyazaki sort of doing a cheeky develop thing that only the developers would know, a meta reference with the idea that, Wilhelm was once known as this cold-blooded, again, hangman. Again, referencing how the armor set evolved and was eventually replaced with the finalized version that we see here. This was the idea of there being a burial knight, the idea that there would be these fancy knights who were apparently all about funeral service, so they had really fancy armor for the sake of the memorials they would presumably hold. This obviously did not end up in the final game. Now, before we continue, we shall go back and have our, have our way back up done. Oh darn, we can't actually go this way. Curses. Oh my gosh! Move! We also have an Estus shard to give on. Oh my... How do you prepare that when I'm not even in your line of sight, you stupid bug? Let us away. Now we find the formal entrance to this crypt is through here in the chapel. Oh yeah, iframes keeping me from taking damage. Woo!
Leave us be, thou art the Lord.
Blah, 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 blah. I see that Ariandel is still busy with his rose whip, even as we speak. We find, of course, our painter.
Thou art ash. Thou hast a pact made with Uncle Gale, so I wish to tell thee all. Behold its size. This is my canvas. It's to be a cold, dark, and very gentle place. But first, I must see flame. I wish to paint a picture of a cold, dark, and very gentle place. One day, it will make someone a goodly home. That's why I must see flame. I wished of one day, that's why.
Alright, so time to show Our Lady Flame, so she can build the next world. Again, we can see how Friede is not doing anything about our immortal painter lady. Again, for one, because she's immortal. For two, because she is a cold illusion, much like Wilhelm when he was standing over there in front. Just using some cold magic. We can still hear Ariandel whipping himself to draw blood, with which to try to keep the painting from rotting until the fire shows. Now that we've got this all set up, we shall make our descent. Our descent to Priscilla's area. So we're going to Priscilla's old tower. Again, reminder, this is all that remains of the old painting world, and it just so happens to cross in between with where the crypt and the chapel is. So is the crypt originally designed to bury those who perished in the old world? In the old painting? Mayhaps, mayhaps. It's hard to say because obviously the painting might be moved by all this drifting over time and space, across time and space. But it doesn't make much sense for that to be occurring to the painted world itself, since it's its own dimension that exists sort of outside of the painting in many respects. The painting is just a portal to it that is directly connected. I suppose we could say it's still inside the painting in a sense. Alright, now this is important. Let us get... Now, as I mentioned a few streams ago, we can see how Anor Londo assets are being reused. Because again, obviously the painting world was created by Anor Londo for Anor Londo. To imprison those that they didn't want in Anor Londo. We can also see a homeward bone, so this guy is an undead, it would seem, who wanted to return home, but evidently couldn't before his death. He also has a Pyromancer's Parting Flame. This is curious, because this flame belongs to Dunnel, implying that this is Dunnel. So Dunnel be dead. Now, moving on. He's referred to as the Livid Pyromancer. There's a bit of a pun happening here in the Japanese. It means the death spotted or speckled pyromancer, and this is a term that's used to refer to livor mortis. I believe, if I recall correctly, it's the phase in death where your body starts, your blood starts coagulating in a way that causes blue splotches to appear, like blue splots and stuff, to be visible under the skin. So, the point, of course, being the use of speckled is, of course, interesting because the Chaos Blade has a similar term referring to the streaks along the blade that kind of resemble the fires of chaos with which this is in the soul used to create it. I mentioned the Chaos Blade, where... oh, there it is. Because our good friend Dunnel mentions how he had a hideous or a grotesque spouse, a wife of his own. The idea being is that he doesn't give his own pyromancy flame as an offering, which transformed into a parting flame. He basically, the indication is that he basically turned his pyromancy flame into a send-off. There's this idea in Japan of the Obon festival, where the idea is like spirits basically sort of come down and you kind of send them off with like offerings and gifts and things like that. And the idea is that he is, in order to create a sort of memorial send-off to his spouse, who is evidently dead, he seems to sort of created this pyromancy flame. Again, they also make the point of how Dunnel eventually went mad and to wander the lands. Now, the question would then be is, who is this quote-unquote hideous spouse? If you may notice, this pyromancy flame is strange because its parting flame happens where it absorbs souls from the dead, and eventually those that power that gets absorbed from the death results in us gaining Estus. That's weird. Estus is associated with fire keepers and bonfires. not pyromancy typically. How strange. Granted, there was a certain firekeeper related to pyromancy, but it couldn't be. Well, she was ugly, but it couldn't be. Now, as we can see, our man uses chaos pyromancy, including Quelana's pyromancy. Though I think that spell could easily be learned from others besides Quelana, considering its origins and relation. And most importantly, he uses a spell used by the demon deacons. Whoop. He also uses, as it stands, a Chaos Blade. As we established previously, the Chaos Blade is created using the soul of a daughter of Chaos. We established earlier how Quelana's soul was likely taken, along with her hair being scalped off her head, in order to... There we go. In order for the sake of the scholars and the samurai or the Easterner who fought in the war for Lothric in order to, on their behalf, to get her hair. And he created his own katana, the Chaos Blade. Dunnel also has a Chaos Blade, which means that he also took the soul of a daughter of Chaos. Again, there's only 2 daughters of Chaos left alive up until the end of the Demon War. That would be the Fair Lady and Quelana. So this would imply, therefore, that he took the Fair Lady's soul and used it to create the Chaos Blade, which makes sense considering his parting flame from his hideous spouse that was deceased has an effect that resembles a Firekeeper's, which was, of course, what the Fair Lady had turned herself into when she was making herself a new seedbed for new Chaos Demons to be born, before she got sick and seems to have gotten better. And combined with the fact that he uses the Demon Deacon's pyromancy, and the fact that he dresses as a master pyromancer, we can be sure that this was a man of the Great Swamp, who came to... that he is a Great Swamp Master. Oh, you know what? We're gonna make this simple for me, because I cannot stand this. He is a Great Swamp Pyromancer who left, like many others, to find Izalith, found it, and joined Demon Society. And considering that he learned from the Demon Deacons who are found around the Fair Lady's chambers, obviously she is the princess and a shaman of their religion. A very important figure. The idea that he might have gotten close to the Fair Lady, entered a romance with her, and become her husband is not that hard to imagine. Especially if he is undead when he was making his departure. Now, obviously, that would mean that Dunnel is one of the survivors of the Demon War, but his wife was not. And so, to mourn her, he took parts of her soul, created the Chaos Blade and the Parting Flame. Oh my god, run out of of Estus, you little... There you go. I can throw it stuff too. There we go. That's what we want to see. Oh, okay. There we go. The idea being is that afterwards he went mad from grief with her demise. He ends up in the painting world, of course, before this, as we can see, looking around for her. Or I should say, he has nowhere else to go, so he ends up here and then continues mourning her around. This is reinforced by the fact that we, of course, encounter him in Priscilla's old tower, as there was a similar connection between Priscilla and the Xanthos king Jeremiah, another person who, another Chaos Pyromancer connected to Izalith who had quite a sorry fate in the end. In the end, though, as we can see, Dunnel, despite encountering him as a mad spirit with his invasion and all that. However, he came to acquire his red eye orb. It doesn't matter. As we can see, his future is death. And we are just dealing with the last spirit of a man who's crossing time and space into the past before his death. That is it. Oh, well. Time to go to the last bonfire. Let us see. Let us see. Now again, it's very important to note. Recall again, this is the statue from Dark Souls 1 of Velka with her child Priscilla. We will now proceed to reenact a very familiar scene. In fact, you know what? Just so I don't have to deal with these guys. How the hell do you see me? Now, much like in Dark Souls 1, we go to the crypt beneath the core part of the painting world. This has us find a lever, which will turn the Velka statue around to face to the passage we wish to open. Friede sees this and is a little miffed to know that we continue to ignore her warnings, despite her being as kind and cordial about it as possible. Kind of gotta respect how people in these games cross time itself just to kill you. Listen, he doesn't get to choose, he's just using the orb. But yeah, it is funny that with the way that the universe comes out, you could technically be meeting a character who's already dead in the present. And they're just like going through past, future, etc. Now again, we see how the statue turns and it opens the way. Now if you...
As ashes will be, ever seeking fire.
Ha ha ha, great pun, Friede. Isn't it fun, your wordplay? Oh, yeah, man, you're so funny, Miyazaki. Okay, let's do this. I'm getting out of here. Now when we come up here, we will see that Friede isn't just doing nothing. We will see that she is here. However, it seems that, oh. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Alright, so, Friede seems to have taken away, the father's, flail, even though he literally just had it. Now, there's a legit question to be had about what Friede is doing right now. That she is apparently, that she's apparently just, we're not, obviously Gale's here to help. We're not going to deal with him. But obviously there's a huge question to be had of what the hell is, Friede doing. She's taken the flail away and is going to get her scythe, it seems.
Fire cannot paint a world. Those absorbed by fire must not paint a world. Don't worry. I haven't forgotten, Mother.
Alright, now Priscilla gave some very wise words of advice to her daughter. The first statement is, of course, the idea that you must know fire in order to, quote-unquote, paint the world. This reflects what we know in the actual history of this universe. The Lords found the first flame, took the Lord's souls, and through that, were able to essentially paint the world in their colors, as it were. Completely shaping history as we know it. On the other end, Priscilla told her daughter, hey, those who, if you cannot become, quote-unquote, absorbed by fire, and paint the world. You shouldn't do it. Again, she says must not. The Japanese is more like you shouldn't, or do so like you. You must not, should not. It's not something that you're supposed to do. The reason for this, that this is important, is because absorbed is more accurately the word to be attracted to or captivated by. This is actually the same term used in Dark Souls 1's opening cinematic. Well, the Japanese version of the cinematic. Because what it says, when it has the, then from the dark they came and found the lords of souls within the flame, it's more accurate to say that it was, then some animals who were born from the dark, were captivated by fire, so they were attracted to, they were enthralled by it, and the idea is, of course, that they're coming near it, right? They're going near the fire. Imagine, you live in a world which was, all you've really known in this world is the dark, the shadows, again, big dragons, mostly a bunch of rock crags, and big tall trees and stuff, living underground and all that, from where everything evolved, and the idea is, okay, well, now you're meeting, you suddenly see this big, glorious flame, and you're like, oh my god, and you're just going near it. And now, it isn't that they found the Lord's souls within the flame. The idea in the Japanese script is they found it near the flame, or around it. So the idea is, of course, obviously, if it's within the fire, then the fire's probably burning it, and they're not getting their Lord's souls. The idea is that when the first flame created disparity, obviously, the highest concentrations of that disparity that burst out and permeated the universe is going to be found as residue immediately around the fire. So that's where we get the four Lord's souls from. Now, the idea, of course, that Priscilla's making is that those who captivated by fire shouldn't paint the world. So as we can see, it's not that it was wrong to know fire and use fire and manipulate it, but when you become obsessed with fire, enthralled with it, you could even say distracted by it, that nothing else is more important than the fire itself, then that's where you can't paint the world, because you will ultimately lead the world to rot. You will ultimately stagnate it. So the point, of course, being is that the idea is that she will not create a world using fire like Ariamis did. Instead, she will create a world using the dark. And so she needs a special pigment of the dark soul, as she will reveal later. How can they be born? Okay, the idea being is that they are born from or in the dark. And Abyssal Archive will talk about this more in detail, but the idea, of course, is you are born from when you are born from your mother's womb, you are born from the dark. When you are born in a cavern underneath the crust of the earth, amongst giant dragons and arch trees, you are born in the dark. Because again, the point is, the first flame is where light comes from. That is where fire and its light is. If you never saw the first flame before, if you were somewhere else other than the first flame, then naturally that means you were in the dark. So all life that was born, evolving from the archdragons and the arch trees and all that in this gray, craggy world, was quote-unquote born in the dark, because again, once the first flame came to be, there was no longer just everything kind of existing. Everything had to exist in a certain states. Life and death, heat and cold, light and dark. And again, the idea being is when you're around the flame, there's the light. When you're away from the flame, you're in the dark. So that's the point being. So it's not the same in the sense that humans, as we learn, are again also sort of considered quote-unquote sort of born from the dark, and that they gather dark souls with which generates their line, and with which becomes sort of their main soul, at least before the gods got involved. Again, we'll talk more about this with the Ring City. But again, great question. As I said, the Velka statue changes things up. Let's see if we can get Friede back, because I think she does have some dialogue here for us. Just keep loading, just keep loading. There we go.
Leave us be.
Oh no, just the same, just the same spiel. So again, she's an illusion. We don't know where the real one is, or where she ran off with Father Ariandel's flail, but we know she's coming to get her scythe. Again, and now he sees the fire coming up from the blood. He needs more to squelch it. Keep it down. Keep it satiated. Because again, the point is that when the fire which powers the painting world runs out of substance with which to keep everything together, it will instead burn up the dimension and the world itself, right? Because that's all the remaining power there is, what maintains this world to exist. There's not enough excess power. So it's just going to burn up the painting and its medium. The way to fix this for Ariandel was to essentially use his own blood to paint over it. But that, of course, as we see, creates the rot. Interestingly, the blood seems to come, of course, with creating dark creatures, so the idea may be that he was already Corvian by this point, which would make sense considering, well, a lot of things. Him being a holy father, him being, of course, obviously the painter for this. If he was someone who was a huge religious figure of that nature in the painting and was really sort of in love with it, we can see how he might have gone this far. But the point is, he has apparently enough dark in his blood, though not enough to make the blood look any different from normal red blood, to cause those insects to arise from the rot. Though again, the idea is that the blood itself naturally decays because, well, it's blood. It's a medium of the soul, and naturally, much like how souls fade, blood will decay. Again, statue turned to face here. In Dark Souls 1, it brought us to Priscilla. Here, across the long bridge. Here, instead of a long bridge, we see a long hallway. The hallway has some interesting graphics. Now, if you actually look in the game files, you'll see that there's actually some names here at the bottom, maybe even potentially just out of frame of the bottom, giving us the name of this as the, I think if I remember right, it was Crusher and Stabber. So the idea of course, we have one hooded figure stabbing a white snake, and another hooded figure crushing that snake. It's hard to say in his hands. It's hard to say, for me, what exactly the symbolism here is depicting. I don't think it's to be taken too literal. We do see, of course, a bunch of flames at the bottom with people burning in them and sort of looking up to this. So I can only imagine that this has to do with depicting the two ashes who will bring the new world to fruition as the old one burns up. Though again, it's kind of hard to say why the white snakes are being used to symbolize this. Again, feel free to throw out your own ideas. I haven't worked out my thesis on giving my conclusions yet, however. Obviously we see chairs and stuff for meetings and tables and stuff with more books, so again, keeps on giving the idea of Velka as a knowledge goddess with a theological center. We will actually see that behind these areas, though we can't open them and look behind ourselves, there actually are some more of the High Priestess statues with their heads lopped off, so more Velka statues that have been defaced, along with some altar-type shrines on either ends over here on these wings that we can't really see from here, but they're back there, over here, and over here, and they have their, of course, their idols removed, which again are presumably more idols of Velka. Much like how we see Sullivan trying to de-emphasize Gwyn in Irithyll to put focus on the current Allfather Gwyndolin, we can see how Friede and Father Ariandel are de-emphasizing their goddess Velka, who is such an important figure in the religion, in order to prop up the current figures of herself, Friede, and the Holy Father. In order to kind of emphasize that, hey, yes, these characters are important, but you should be focusing on me. Alrighty. We can see how the snow keeps blowing in. And as we can see here... Oh, whoopsie. Here's Priscilla, or, well, the idol for her. Again, the statue turns, it opens the passage to the long road leading to Priscilla at the very end. This was how it was in Dark Souls 1, and this is what the chapel here recreates in Dark Souls 3. It is reenacting this scene, this old tradition, to bring us to a monument to Priscilla. As we can see here, it is a woman It is a wooden model of a woman, and it seems to be basically a woman's head on a bunch of cylindrical blocks that are tied together by a string or a rope. This is for the purposes of putting on Priscilla's skin, her tail skin. If you recall, in Dark Souls 1, her outfit came with a little tail covering, so we just saw a fuzzy white tail, much like the rest of her clothes. We didn't get a good look at her, what would lay underneath, though again, this would make sense. It would be a scaly white tail. We also, of course, see something similar with Yorshka. And, of course, as the added factor, they acknowledge the fur of her clothing by adding this little fur shawl over it. So, again, this is a monument of Priscilla. A little statue, as it were. Now, the purposes of this statue... Sorry there, Father. Gotta take this before the bonfire shows up and ruins everything. In fact, I'm gonna... Yeah. What if we go from this angle instead? More like here. Do this. Now, whether this was just a shrine made after Priscilla's death, or sort of a installed, like she actually like sort of resided and operated out of here, and then later converted into this sort of death monument with her death, it's hard to say. Though it is worth noting, we get some sense that a lot of activity and aging is happening here, so it's something. It's something, all right. Am I forgetting anything for you guys? I don't think so. Yep. And obviously, Ariandel over here. We can see how his chair has been pinned down to kind of keep him and tied in place. This is rather interesting, considering he seems to very willingly be doing all this stuff for Friede. So despite how people would say the good father was tricked, it seems that he is very much not being tricked. Who would have thunk? He's actually okay with all this stuff. I guess he drank the Kool-Aid. Alright, I think that's enough. Now, we don't really get a good look inside the vessel. That gives us the idea that, yes, there is in fact blood here. And you can imagine fire being, showing up here as that blood drives up. Now, this quote-unquote Lord vessel, let's call it, it's obviously a reference to that. It seems to be some sort of vessel being used from which the fire will arise. It's hard to say if this was used by Ariandel originally, though there is, of course, nature imagery, but again, that could just be because it's a fancy-styled vessel. Maybe the snakes dying represent the end of the order of the world, implying that the snakes are meant to be Koth and Frampt. I don't think it'd be related to Koth and Frampt, because Koth and Frampt don't really play into the painting world religion whatsoever. Besides the fact that Velka is cooperated with Koth in the past. So yeah, I'm skeptical on that front. And again, if it's a why white snakes? If it's supposed to be Koth and Frampt, you can use other symbols to make that more obvious, even just changing the heads. Like when I think white snakes, I think less than perfect dragons, i.e. half dragons like Priscilla, Yorshka, and the Painter. But the idea that two of these, and they're both being killed by the ashes, even though the Painter is supposed to, again, do the painting? And how does this tie into both Yorshka and the Painter not receiving names, even though the Painter has received at least some attention from her mother? Though I guess you could at least stretch and argue that maybe she didn't actually hear the words directly from her mother. She was just sort of told them after the fact, and her mom was already dead when they were, like, young or something. Again, a lot of variables here that are worth considering. I haven't completely puzzled this place out yet. And like I said, this is because, in large part, these years I've been working on doing deep dives into Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 to make sure that I got all my chicks in order there, rather than focusing on the DLC, which were coming out around that, which, well, at least this one had already come out, but I hadn't really thought too hard about it before Ring City was, of course, being a thing when I got to playing it, and then the whole idea when Ring City was when I was getting concerned about localization and all that. So anyway, enough of the Loki history lesson. Let's get to the fight here. Let's see if we can beat this fight in the first try. I doubt it, but you never know. We don't care for this because it's not going to help us, so let's get to that. All right. I'm not going to use Pyromancy for Frieda's first phase, I don't think, because we don't really need it, right?
Bring Friede to me, please.
No, mate. Ariandel learning from Lothric, yeah.
The flame flickering once again. Soon will it surge. I can see it, feel it.
Oh, spooky, scary wind. Who brought in the draft?
Fret not, Father. We have no need of thy flail. 'Tis only the flame quivering at misguided ash. Please avert thine eyes. I will snuff out these ashes for good.
Now Friede finally comes in the flesh. She naturally wields a scythe, trying to make her parallel herself to Priscilla. Oh, before I forget. Oh. Come on, do your thing. Oh. Oh, well, no. That's not what I want. Oh. Oh. Not gonna do this first try if I waste all my Estus on this. There you are. Oh. I should just hit her. I forgot how slow the windup is on that. Oh. Come on. Oh. Oh, I gotta remember to dodge roll after that, because she can hit faster than I can get my stamina back. Oh. Wait. There we go. Now, obviously, we fell Friede. She starts bleeding. About to meet her maker. Maybe the white snake represents necessary killing to herald in the herald in the new world. The Ashen One has to kill Friede and Ariandel to show flame to the painter. Maybe, but then there comes the question of how much is this being foreseen this way? Like, anyway, so Ariandel finally notices that Friede is not doing okay, and alleviating his fears, she is dying. He freaks out, finally gets rid of his restraints, which he seemed to only be using in order to keep himself in place while he inflicted pain on himself to get the blood. We start seeing him unleashing the fire that is coming out as he needs more blood. That firepower starts burning the area around us. And because Friede is an Ashen One, she is one who benefits greatly from having the heat of flame. And it sort of empowers and heals her, much like how when we get embered, it heals us. Allowing her to go for another round. I wonder why he's so enormous. As I've said in past live streams, size is typically for artistic reasons, less so than for lore reasons, so I would not focus on it too hard. If you can find a lore reason, great, but don't, like, live or die on that hill. Oh my god, you're doing the healing, really? While he's doing this? Screw you. Oh. Fuck you. Oh. Fuck you. If you're gonna play it like that. Oh my gosh. Oh, sure. Can you stop? Where is she? Oh. I wish there was friendly fire on this boss. Maybe we can get... There we go. Alright, we get to the scene, blah blah blah, we kill them both. Yada yada yada. He goes boom. He recounts the prophetic words. And he's like, oh hey Friede, it's very true with you. You have a flame that appears. She has, of course, her dark soul with her dark flame that comes with it. Alright. Oh my god. Oh, frick. There we go. Oh. This. Oh. I'm already embered. I cannot make use of it. Oh. Yep. Dang it. Ariandel at waifu rescue. If you hit her with a throwing knife or arrow, you can see where she is when she goes invisible. That's true. That is a smart decision. I wonder why he's so enormous. Come on, Lady Maria. 3 phases unfair, girl. Lady Maria. Let's see. What do we want to do then? If we're gonna... Let's try the throwing knife thing because I'm used to doing this solo, but I don't want to, like, waste time, like, relearning this boss fight too hard, so... Do I need... I don't... Yeah, let's bring a Divine Blessing just in case. We'll bring these. We don't need these. Let's go with this. 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 Yeah, okay, perfect. So we can shoot her with a few of those at the start, and let's go to Andre and get our last Estus shard in. That way we could just do the fight and be done with it. If not, we'll continue this next time. You just stay there, girly.
That is, wasn't he?
Alright, that's max. Yeah, I'll give us 10. That should give us... Because, honestly, one of the bigger problems is that I ran out of Estus there. So as long as I have 1 extra for that fight, and this time I won't lose a lot of them stupidly. We just have to beat our girl first phase, and then we can outrange her for the most part. Once we get through second phase, which second phase is a bit more obnoxious just because of Ariandel being like, "Rah!" And then she does the healing thing. So I want to focus on both of them when they're together if I can, and get Chaos Vestiges to, like, double team them. But again, I don't know how viable that's going to be. Oh. Oh, dang it. I was not soon enough. Oh. 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 There we go. Phase 1, easy. How come we don't get another phase where we can fly? You'll not summon Grandpa Gale? I don't want the extra HP in the boss fight from summoning Grandpa Gale, no. The fight's got enough HP to chew through that I don't need the NPC help. Though I get ya. I get the sentiment. Oh wait, we can skip this, right? Yeah. We can skip this. We don't need to focus on him. Whoa! Oh! Fuck you! Thank God she doesn't dodge. There we go. That's phase 2! They're still good. Okay, I'm sorry. That was funny for me. I just wanted to see if it could work. And yep, it works. I'm sorry, Friede. No disrespect, but yeah, total disrespect. Oh. Oh. Oh, now you dodge. Whoop. Fire snakes! Whoop. Whoop. And now I die. Yep. Ah! I ran out of stamina. Ree! That was a funny run though. All right, we're gonna try it one more time and then end things here. I think that was a pretty clean run. I just got to keep that up and not die to her. If not, next stream we'll do some more farming on the HP front so I can outlast her in case I get hit by that. Oh. Don't want to use pyromancy, I forgot. Dang it. Didn't get staggered enough. Alright, you come here. Oh. I have ears, woman. Oh. Alright. I always mess that up. Oh. Oh. That is so... Okay, we're doing another run. That was dumb. That was absolutely dumb. She immediately goes for the offense when he's already charging just because I interrupted her healing. Like, no. We are not playing that game. That was not Gucci. Beat me in phase 3, you coward. Come on. Oh. I whiffed. I whiffed like a noob. Right? There you are. Whoop. I'm wasting Estus on first phase. Whoop. Wasting Estus in first phase. Oh. Oh. There you go. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh! Just what? Oh my god, I hate you. Just stop it, Ariandel. I'm trying to get rid of your waifu. What is wrong with that? Pretty sure she's into it. Oh, right. Oh my god, you are... Woo! Oh, ow. Oh. 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 What? What? You were there! I saw you! Never mind. I'm dead. I'm not dead! I don't know how! Woo! Woo! Woo, woo, woo! 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 Friede, calm down! Holy hell! This isn't Bloodborne! Woo! Oh, I'm dead now. Yeah. Alright, we're ending this here. I clearly need more HP for this fight, because that attack is a little too deadly. I need more room. Alright. Next time we'll finish off Friede. We'll have a revenge match. Yeah, I'll collect my souls and get out of there next time. Alright guys, thanks for sticking with me. Hopefully we'll be able to beat Friede next casual lol. I need to farm a little bit more HP. And then after that we'll go to Dragheap. And then I think we'll finish Dragheap, we'll beat the Demon Princes. And the next stream after that will be Ring City, which will probably be a few streams, to be completely honest. But I think that covers it. So yeah, we're gonna end things here. Again, I wish we could have killed her and been done with it. Really make things, end things with a nice little bow, but nope. It's not working out. We only got so much time, so okay. Thanks so much for sticking with me, guys. Bye!